Welcome to At Home with Music as we continue this video series from ears to fingers, how to play by ear. Maybe you've heard someone say, I can't carry a tune in a bucket. I must be tone deaf. And in reality, I believe that there are very few people who are truly tone deaf. When somebody says, I can't carry a tune in a bucket because I'm tone deaf, in reality, they probably could carry a tune, but they haven't learned to properly control their voice. And it could be that if they took a few lessons on how to sing properly, they would begin to discover that they were not tone deaf. They were just merely dealing with a voice that was unable to produce the tones that they knew that it should produce. So as we begin to learn how to play by ear, one of the first things I want to convince you of is that you are not tone deaf. And so what we're going to do here is a very simple drill. This will help determine whether or not you are truly tone deaf. And I'm willing to bet that you aren't. What we're going to do in this portion of the video is I'm going to play for you a note on the piano. Now, I'm going to switch this camera off so that you can't see what note I'm playing. I'm going to play one note, and then I'm going to play another note. And then I want you to determine, before I tell you the answer, which note is higher or lower. Now, most folks get this right 100% of the time, and I'm pretty sure that you will be in that camp. So ready? You can't see my face now. You can't see my fingers. You can't see the keyboard. Here we go. Here's note number 1. Hear that? All right, now here's note number 2. So, which note is higher? Is it note number 1 or note number 2? Once again, here's note number 1. Here's note number 2. Now think to yourself, which of those notes is higher? I'll give you a couple seconds. Did you say that note number 2 was higher? Well, congratulations, you're correct. Let's try one that might be a little more difficult, but I still think you can get it. Ready? Here's note number 1. Okay, note number 2. Once again, note number 1, note number 2. Which note is higher? Did you say note number 1? Very good. Now, let's make it even a little bit more difficult. I'm going to play 3 notes, and I want you to tell me which one of these is the lowest note. Ready? Here we go. Here's note number 1, note number 2, and note number 3. Ready? Number 1, number 2, number 3. Which of those 3 notes is the lowest note? Did you say number 3? I sure hope so, because that is the correct answer. Now that you've discovered that you can hear the difference between a high note and a low note, let's go on to something even a little harder. Now, if you remember from the Music Basics series, which, by the way, if you haven't gone through this, I encourage you to do so. You know that we talked about different chord qualities: major chords, minor chords, and seventh chords. Those are the 3 basic chord qualities upon which all the other fancy chords are built. So here's the chord drill. First of all, listen to a major chord. Okay? Now listen to a minor chord. Now listen to a seventh chord. Very good. Now, I'm going to play one of those 3 chord qualities, and I want you to tell me, before I tell you, and this is the honor system, of course, because I'm not going to be able to hear your answer, figure out what I'm playing. Am I playing a major chord, a minor chord, or a seventh chord? Ready? Here's the first one. What quality is that chord? It's a minor chord, folks. How about this one? Listen carefully. Is it a major chord, a minor chord, or a seventh chord? If you said it's a seventh chord, you're correct. Let's try one way up here. Did you hear a major chord? Good, because that's what I was playing. All right, let's do one more. This one's a little lower. Now that you know the difference between high notes and low notes, obviously this is lower on the keyboard. Am I playing a minor chord, a major chord, or a seventh chord? Well, I hope you said a seventh chord. So I'm thinking that you can probably tell the difference just from the sound of these chords. More folks can do this than think they can. Now, if you can't do this right away, don't be alarmed. Don't worry about it, because after a while, you'll be able to do it. You'll be able to tell the difference between major, minor, and seventh chords just by hearing them. And of course, you'll be able to tell whether a note is lower or higher in relation to another note. So if you can tell low notes from high notes, and if you can tell the types of chords that are being played, basic chords, then you are well on your way to being able to play by ear.